The 2025 edition of the Portland Print Fair seemed like it might be struggling a bit. Fewer dealers, a few empty booths thanks to an ice storm. It made you wonder how sustainable the whole thing was. But this year, all of that changed. The fair was packed. Crowds were moving through every aisle, and it was almost impossible to look at any given stack of prints without waiting your turn. The mix of people was impressive too. Different ages, backgrounds, even races. And the dealers weren't just local. California, Maryland, South Carolina, New York. You saw them all. The prints themselves ran the gamut from contemporary to historic. Portland's own Maloney Printing and Crow's Nest, a nonprofit in Pendleton, had new work on display, while dealers from across the country brought prints that spanned decades. Aspinwall editions from Hudson, New York, had works by Stefanie Hofer from Germany. Two large prints caught my eye, light and shadow playing across the page with a softness that made me think of early photography. I thought they were photogravures at first, but looking closer, I realized Hofer uses spit-bite aquatint to get that rich, velvety darkness. Then soft ground etching adds a kind of dreamy blur, almost like a photographic bokeh. The scenes she captures, an old graveyard, an unmarked garden, feel ordinary, but in her hands they become magical, strangely familiar and peculiar all at once. We stopped by Maloney Printing's booth to greet Paul, Harry, and Cassie. They had a full suite of linocuts by Allison Saar, exploring Black experiences through jazz. Saar's sculptural work is just a few doors down in the main museum building, so seeing the prints here felt like a conversation across spaces. Eganolf Gallery from Burbank, California, specializes in Japanese prints and drawings. On their back wall was a print by Yoshida Hiroshi. If you've been to the museum recently, you'd recognize the style. His work was included in the first-ever museum exhibition of Yoshida Chizuko, with some pieces by her family as well. The Grand Canyon print, like the Taj Mahal print in the show, is painstakingly detailed with striking colors. Apparently, Hiroshi spent 9 days observing and painting the Grand Canyon. When we saw it, it already had a blue dot, probably on hold. Some people come to a show like this with a plan, but other times it's about discovery. A 1930s print by Ohara Koson, Two White Cockatoos, flew out of the stack immediately. Offered by Eganolf Gallery of Chicago for $3,600, it wasn't exactly an impulse buy. But really, prices shouldn't scare you away. Collecting prints is a journey, learning, discovering, seeing things you never expected. And that knowledge makes eventually scoring a print all the more satisfying. It makes sense that Portland hosts the West Coast's largest fine arts print fair. The city doesn't have a dense cluster of ultra-wealthy collectors, and its grassroots art scene gives prints a more democratic feel. They're easier to approach than a single high-stakes object. Their multiple nature doesn't just lower the price, it makes value legible, fair. For younger collectors especially, it can be pure pleasure. You browse through stacks like records, stopping not out of obligation or prestige, but because a sheet of paper quietly insists on its beauty.